Good evening again, folks. Live from the underground here, I'm Jamie Gage, your co-host with Vincent Freeman, Babs Mills, and Cameron Kennedy. Thank you very much for all of your help and technical assistance. We're here in Randolph, Vermont, September 7th, 2021, and this is a special event because we have taken the month of September off, but when we heard that Strangled Darlings were back in town, we said we need to do a special event, and they just followed.
Thanks,
they just had a fantastic performance. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I feel
Right?
special.
Thank you.
Aw.
Otherwise known as George Veach and Jess Anderley, and we also may have, well, we probably won't, but we may have an audio interjection from Asa Ryder
Asa
Veach.
Asa
yeah.
Ryder
There
Veach.
you go. Yeah.
Right?
That was like,
Right. ARV.
You're right.
We won't talk about him until he makes himself known.
Yeah. In case you hear someone screaming, it could be just a baby.
Could
so don't
be
worry.
just the baby.
Just the
Exactly.
baby.
It's normal for them. Right.
Or the babysitter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for coming down to the underground here, and so much to say. I never know where to start these things, and I feel like I know you guys in some ways because we did an interview a few years ago, and I've listened to your music and admired it a lot. But American Pageant, I guess I want to start there. I don't want to start with the outer space stuff yet because there's that too, which is great.
Follows
but
me around.
a couple years ago, you put out an album called American Pageant.
Yeah.
This year, you put out 2020.
Yeah.
Both centered in American themes. You did the American thing.
Yeah.
Where do you want to start with America?
I mean, we can. I every time you say that, I always forget. Like, well, no, I don't forget. Like, there is a very American theme. I don't know what that exactly means because this has been pretty heady times the past 5-10 years. So I don't know where else the art just keeps coming from that because every darn day, it's some other thing, and I don't know. That's just endless material, I guess, is the most obvious thing. Plus, the other reason is we were driving. For years we were known as a Portland band, and by the time we got to Vermont, we'd finally kind of lost that Portland band name thing. That's people used to introduce us to that, and I don't know why. And then now we're back in Portland because of COVID. But the point is that most of the time, for the past 5 years, we spent in the middle of the country, which is not Vermont or Portland, kids. It's totally different, and everyone should go, and it's beautiful.
Wonderful.
And so, I don't know. It's also inspiring. So, I mean, I don't know how to say that without. I don't mean anthropologically. I mean like artistically. Like the people there are cool. The cultures. It's not. It's still America, but it's different. And it's less red and blue than you think out there.
I think the American theme probably, to some great extent, has to do with the fact we really were in America, like in the motorhome, sort of
Right, in the motorhome.
staring at America from like the Walmart parking lot, literally, and sort of studying our country outside of these sort of little. Vermont and Portland, Oregon both can have a bubble aspect to them culturally. I mean, any place does, I'm sure. So we were out in America really just watching it and being in it. And so that would inspire. It's inspiring and it's
On top of
strangeness,
which,
yeah.
The shingles were getting ripped off by hurricanes of various political stripes and actual hurricanes. I guess now that they're getting political, to advancing every year to more and more. I think they want their rights. But
Hurricanes?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got them. They're getting them.
They've got names.
Yeah.
Anywho, it is. I know everybody thinks their time is the craziest time, but it's pretty crazy, and so that if hurricanes are asking for visas, we need to think about what's going on in America. I guess.
Wait, hurricanes are asking for visas?
That's true. I heard that.
like paper so they can travel to
It's
other
hard
countries,
because
or like a card so they can buy
You have
groceries?
to do a card because if you do the paper one, the pages they all flap around. It's very hard to read. But if it's just one card, then it doesn't.
But I'm
flap
still
around.
questioning: is this to buy stuff or to go to other countries?
Visas. Oh, I didn't even think of that. See, capitalism has taken over international.
mind.
Yeah. Right.
You meant immigration.
I meant
Market
I meant,
influences.
Yeah.
What market
influences are cool.
influences really impact her?
Yeah.
Right. There's I'm
Okay.
heavily influenced by the market. I'm not even kidding. I think I want to say I'm the only songwriter that has compound interest in a song. So I don't know if that's true, but
Well, let's go to that then,
Sure.
because
Walmart.
6.5%, I guess, right? Is that
no, that's a different one.
or
But
is that-
that's also compound. There's two references to compound
right?
interest.
Well,
No, the compound interest was Homeless, which is about Walmart.
Yep.
And then I don't know what the other one.
6.5%.
Well, then-
That's 6.5% is from the one we just did, Dreaming, which is
From
about
Dreaming,
the sort
that's
of
right.
collapse of the perfect, ordered middle class, middle aged life, and the whole thing kind of comes crashing down. And so they were dreaming. Maybe perhaps it was originally for great expectations, and then ironically, those dreams fade into some bitter. I'm not going to
doesn't,
talk
like,
about. I was so close to talking about politics, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not gonna
Compound
do it.
interest
I'm
sort of
tired about it.
signifies like the predictability of life, right? If you can depend on compound interest, you can retire. Life is stable and dependable, and things are okay. And if once you can't depend on compound interest, then like shit's bad.
Things are bad. Jess watches
Can we
PBS
not cuss?
NewsHour, and this.
That's what the internet was made for.
We're on the
You
internet.
told me
still?
I couldn't
Yeah.
swear.
I thought we went to the
Leap in
radio.
hell.
Or something.
Well, I didn't
Where
mean
are
to
we
say
in
you
right now?
couldn't. I was actually talking to Asa.
Oh,
I
he's
didn't-
awfully young to be
His
swearing
ears
at.
are not free from these words
That's
Right.
true.
at this point. Okay, well we're still on the internet, not
Yeah,
the
we're talking about
radio.
internet compound interest and
Okay.
things
Got
about
it, thanks.
the future predictive capability of your returns on investment. Or something.
It's like someone when they text
like
you and then they
McNeil
write back
Lair.
on Facebook, and then someone else sends you the Instagram note, and you're like, "Well, give me a call," and then they're like, "How about FaceTime?" And you've used all the different mediums, and it's
Oh,
confusing.
that is a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah.
If someone texts you, you have to text back. You can't Twitter back,
Facebook back
and
or
you can't
something.
email back. Like that. That's
Right.
kids don't do that. I know you're using mediums that we haven't heard of, like that have a chip or something.
It's like answering back in a different language or something.
No, not a different language. It's more like a different medium. I don't know what else
Yeah,
is
yeah,
that.
okay.
Like, or maybe you would, like, I don't know. Someone calls you and then you show up at their door.
Depends on
Cell
what.
phones are fun for that.
But
that
if
we
they
can be
called
like,
you and said, "Come help," that would be okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
In that circumstance, other circumstances, if it was say 2 a.m,
There's a great episode of Portlandia, or an early episode of Portlandia, where Fred Armisen is just trying to keep up with all of his different social media. It's
Oh, yeah.
frenetic as all get out.
Those
Speaking
are
of Portland,
Those are
Oregon.
content producers. Is now what they call those people.
Right.
Creators, content creators.
Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
art has been it now instead of.
assumed.
Oh, that's true. That is true.
We're creating content as we
Right now,
You
That's
guys are
true.
kind of like
I wonder if it's good or not.
No,
a
but
live
that's true.
mashup.
A live mashup? What do you mean?
You're kind of like the epitome of live mashup. You're with all of the literary references, the musical references,
And then we talk
the
over each
social
other?
media, and then we're talking over each other.
Yeah, it's
and
like a David Mamet
hold on,
play,
I'm
I
gonna
would
get
say.
my-
Yeah,
exactly.
It's everything. Everyone is saying something at the same time. Isn't Mamet from around here? Actually,
He had a big presence in Northeast Kingdom. Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
I remember
Did a
saying
couple
that.
movies with William H. Macy,
All right.
actually, in St. Johnsbury. I don't know what his connection up there was with.
He
but-
probably
but
bought
yeah.
a farm like people from New York
Yeah,
do.
like
you
Nico
know?
Case.
Yeah, Nico
She bought a
Case. Wow.
farm has 11 pianos. in a-
11
in a
pianos?
barn in
normally
St.
people have
Johnsbury
cows, but-
near.
What do you
near
need
that.
11 pianos? Come
Yeah,
on,
that was the story, and then it burned down when she was like in England
Awkward.
or Scotland or something.
Yeah.
yeah, big bummer. That sounds callous and cold.
There's a
It
William
really
Faulkner
is.
story about this, but
That's sad.
Yeah.
So let's go to your name.
Okay.
You said a
Oh.
William Faulkner story. Tell me the story. So
I didn't. I totally planted that there. That barn burn. No. Okay.
Well, barn burning, right, is the Faulkner story, yeah.
That's for major nerds, but you obviously have
I'm a
qualified
major
you
nerd,
outed
yeah.
yourself. Sometimes you must strangle your darlings was theoretically said by William Faulkner or some other guy in the modernist period, and it's. I mean, as Jess has often pointed out, two D's together make for bad, like phonemic popularity. So that Strangled Darlings makes it difficult. But that being said, it also is about sort of like being cutting away the excesses in your life and not having too much, like. God, I just thought of Marie Kondo. It's not Marie Kondo, so just so you know, it's not
I could
that.
give a different spin.
It's about minimizing and just keeping it simple.
There's that.
And also not getting too much into your own perfume, sniffing your own butt too much.
Yeah, it's kind of like,
Yeah.
your,
That's what it
your
actually-
ego sort of, you think you're awesome and everything's great. And sometimes you have to snuff that out a little bit and
No, that's true. Humility. Yeah.
Navel
Yeah.
gazing.
Yeah. Art is, if you do art, in my opinion, kind of right. But seriously, then you have to accept defeat and failure and like rejection and it's the process must be the joy, not the result, because you can't, if you're going to do it honestly, then you can't really, control that part.
what is the result of art anyway? I mean,
Marvel movies.
well, we are totally failing.
Well, I don't know. He's representing one major animal and
beverage
life
dispensary.
force and beverage dispensary.
Yeah.
Wait, what are you talking about? Wait, what does that mean?
I thought that's what you said. Beverage dispensary.
I know I did, but
Babe's
what is
Bar.
the other part about? Are you talking about life force?
Well, the bull, right?
The bull.
Or I'm sorry.
bull pooper.
Well, Babe. Sorry, I sorry. My apologies. Babe was an ox.
Ah,
Right?
yes, the blue ox.
Oh, which we found out what an ox is, right?
We did.
It's like an old.
He
it's
doesn't
an old
have
male
his. Does
cow.
does he still have his junk, or is he?
No, because they're bulls. Then
Oh.
it's an old male cow. They
Not cow, because he
Heifer.
doesn't have. He's
Right.
because unless we're going gender fluid with cows.
once they're
which they
greater
may
than
be,
6 years
but
old, they're considered an ox if they're a
definitely-
male, but they're not a
definitely-
bull.
They're definitely had more than a vasectomy. Is what I'm saying. More
Yeah.
than a vasectomy. It makes the
They're neutered,
Right.
yeah. Makes the
gelded.
little. No, that's a horse, isn't it?
Yes, true.
All right.
Right. And
Anyway.
This is now
once
a
we get
farm
into
show.
pronouns.
We're gonna go to the Tunbridge Fair and find out how wrong we are about everything we're saying.
All right, Tunbridge
now.
Fair is 21st, and we're gonna 20th.
16th, 17th, and 18th.
We're gonna be there, not as Strangled Darlings, just as like
Us, with
people
our-
eating cotton candy and stuff. But I want to see the.
We're gonna find out how wrong we are about ox. Someone's gonna come up and tell us we were totally wrong.
Right on.
Well, okay, I
we're
can- I'm
open
wrong
to that.
about most
we're
things.
open to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably
Because-
should believe anything
and if
we're
you go to
saying
the
right
Tunbridge
now.
Fair, you gotta hit the pig races if they're still going on. I don't know if you've done that before.
Yeah, no, you know what I really love is the border collie trials with the sheep, and that's pretty fun, and the horse pull is pretty fun too.
I don't know.
I
you
don't
could,
think I've
you
seen
could
the
get a
border
lot
collies.
if you had speeding porcine.
Yeah,
missiles.
the pig races are
Do
cool.
they squeal when they run?
Right. Right.
A missile,
Yeah.
pork missile.
Right. I think you said you're probably the only songwriter that's.
Everyone needs a pork missile, I think.
Oh, it sounds dirty now that I think about it, doesn't it? Yes.
Tasty, I
It's
think.
sort of like flesh torpedo. I think is the reference there.
I don't
That
know.
was the-
That missile's pretty fast.
I have a recipe for
Well,
something
torpedoes
called
are
pork
fast.
tornadoes, which
That I
ties
would
the
not
whole-
eat. That totally sounds like the other side of the bowl. If you know what I'm saying.
Well,
I mean, it's just
right.
you just hear the and you're like, okay, I gotta go. You know what? This
Right,
relationship is
right,
over.
Right.
And then you just leave. You don't even
Ring
you
of
know.
Fire, Johnny Cash
Yeah.
references. Yep. Got
Yeah.
it. Got it.
Like-
got it.
Because you
Oh,
had the
my.
wedding ring right outside, and you're like, no, I'm leaving. That's it.
We are
RVs are
welcome
very
back to
small.
the farm show. We are talking about livestock and lyrics at the same time. You had mentioned you think you're the only songwriter though that talks about in percentages maybe, but in Frank's wild years,
Yeah.
the
Does he
Tom
mention it?
Waits tune, doesn't he talk about assuming a
6.5%?
mortgage?
Yeah, of course.
Right.
And I suspect, actually, almost certainly that Mr. Waits influenced me there because it is, 6.5% mortgage, a little 2-bedroom base. They were so happy.
So that's about suburbia, right?
Yes.
And you talked
Yes.
about writing songs about suburbia.
Yes.
And
Now, the suburbs is an overlooked. Everyone wants to write about like gritty Manhattan because or being out in the
Brooklyn
country, like beer, truck. I just heard that song. That's cool. But nobody wants to do this. Like aside from like Shel Silverstein, I think nobody picks up the suburbs enough. And
Yeah.
so Kurt Cobain sort of did, I guess, didn't he?
Yeah,
A little bit.
Yeah.
Which is nice. I like that Kurt Cobain did odes to the suburbs and teen spirit and stuff.
There's just not a lot of romantic nostalgia about the suburbs, so people.
Doesn't have to be.
No, I know, but it's probably a tougher subject to write
Tightens
about.
the frame.
Yes, it does. Yes.
Well, and maybe it sort of cheapens America because in this last 50 years we've gone to the suburbs and just so happened to coincide with some people say the death of culture but there's a heck of a lot of culture in the suburbs.
Yeah.
I would say that's just your ivory tower, coastal elites
elite
talking
thing, right.
trash about, while
Right.
they're swiping their iPad, like, next, no, we're not going to the suburbs. And now, look at them now, though. They're all running to the suburbs because they're afraid of getting the Rona.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Now they're going to go back because now is the coffee shop going to survive? We hope so.
Hard to say.
God, is the music venue going to survive, please?
2020 is the name of the new album. I haven't listened to it too much. I've heard a couple of the tunes, Raymond, and I really want to hear what you say about Robin Hood.
Robin Hood.
I know Raymond because we talked a little bit about that. Your
I guess we could
grandfather, my
talk-
father.
Yeah, that's my
Whatever you
grandfather.
guys wanna talk
That's how
about.
I ended up in Vermont because he was from New York and then bought a farm or whatever in Vermont, as one does in certain circumstances. Anyway, Raymond, what is the song about? I mean, it's sort of about.
Raymond or Robin Hood?
Well, either one. Whatever you guys want to.
Raymond is about.
Good when you ask these questions because I don't really know what the songs are about always, and it's always
Oftentimes it's revealing to Jess.
Yeah,
She's
I'm
like,
like, oh.
what? That's disgusting. And I'm like, it wasn't.
It's like
it was
like
totally
listening to
consensual,
music.
and
Yeah.
it's
That
not
means
even
what
a
in
thing.
Urban
No, it's like
Dictionary?
when I listen to
That's
songs and
not-
then I
no.
would read the lyrics.
In
and I'm
certain
like,
religions,
that's what they're
that's
saying?
what they do it like.
Yeah, this is what this. I've been singing this song about this horrible topic.
It's truly performance art. You
There was
guys
one.
are-
Where I told you what Long Pig meant, and that was awkward because there's a song with Long Pig is with cannibals.
Cannibalism, I learned.
Refer to their dinner. But anyway, okay, Robin Hood.
Yeah, it's no good.
Back to the
that one's
farm
easy.
stuff.
Is it like it's finance? It's like money's power over everything, even if you don't want it to have the problem. And then kind of I don't know. The other part is just kind of a breakdown of the chaotic, like double speak of like I'm going to do something but I can't do anything. But I'm like there's all these crises happening and you feel kind of powerless, but you also have to kind of get along. Like you want to stop global warming or whatever, but you have to drive your car because it's America and you want to like whatever do something right, but there's not that much you can do, and you still have to play in the system. Except for a few brave individuals that break out, I am not one of them, and so you kind of hope for like some guy to come fix it and all that, and or do something or end the money, which doesn't work. But I don't know, something about the effect it has on you in spite of trying to resist it or something like that.
All right. Well, there's value in edge cases, right? Too. Like you guys are commentators, journalists of a sort, poets, and just creating awareness, right?
I like Michael Pollans. I think he's sort of a journalist,
We're like
entertainer.
Michael Pollans?
Yeah, we're Michael Pollans.
We're like Michael Pollan. Yeah.
He writes about drugs. I write about drugs.
If anybody has Michael Pollan, tell him we're like him.
Yeah, we want a sponsorship. No, I don't know. Anyway, is he available for babysitting? Is what I was wondering.
I think he'd be
That's
a
a-
fantastic babysitter.
Don't you think?
Good
Because he would make
question.
like some pasta. Like he would
Make
roll
some
the wheat
pasta,
out,
right.
and it would be all.
He would be uncaffeinated
organic.
and maybe on some psychedelics, but not a lot.
Right.
And it'd be fine. It'd be really a fun evening for Asa.
I think so. I'd trust him. I think.
I would actually trust
Totally
him.
trust him.
Start
yeah.
with Apple, right? Because it wasn't the botany
It was
of
the apple.
desire was.
Yeah.
Who knew that apples were actually spread around the country because of booze? But now that we did live in an apple orchard for a while, made a lot of cider.
Yeah.
Turns out it's
You
cheaper
can
than
only eat
beer.
a few apples, but you can make a lot of cider.
Yeah, you can only eat so many apples before you're back to the pork bowl situation. Is what I think.
Yeah.
Porknado.
Pork tornadoes, right.
Porknado.
Yeah, that's in my upcoming book. Someone's in the kitchen with whiskey. It's I've been
La,
working on
la,
it for like
someone's in the
25
kitchen.
years now. Someday I'll finish it. How did you guys meet?
You tell that story. I don't know.
Oh, it's not. This is my bad.
I just always get the details wrong.
I mean, details are meant to get wrong. I think that's the thing about
We
details.
were pinned down by enemy fire. No, that's probably wrong.
That's not even the details.
And I was like,
That's kind of
quick,
the whole thing wrong.
The
But
pin's out, but just throw it again.
yeah, and I did.
And then she did, and she lobbed it over, and boom.
Yeah, it was like a volleyball pass.
It was like
sort
that
of.
scene in Wonder Woman. No, never mind. 84.
Yeah. Yeah, we were at I went to my friend's winter white party. I'd been rock climbing in Joshua Tree, and then we came back, and I was feeling really like amped up on nature and pure living, rock climbing, and Joshua Tree is like a pretty spiritual place. Anyway, I was in a good spot in my life, and I met George. Yeah, and kind of just ricocheted onto somewhere else at this party, and we ended up at this park in Portland called Cathedral Park. It's pretty.
No one was drinking
No one was drinking
anymore.
Anyway, singing this the Prince song "Pussy Control" while dancing around a cedar tree.
It's. I mean,
Pussy
even that's even too
control.
much for the internet. We can't do that one. That's
Yeah, so that's how we met. That's
dancing
it.
around singing Prince.
Yeah,
late
there
at
was
night.
no grenades actually.
It was a very small grenade, like just like a.
It was. I think it was an acorn.
It's like one of those popper things. You know?
Yeah, he said it
Do
was a
cedar
hand
trees,
grenade, but I was like,
cedar trees have acorns?
They do in Portland.
yes,
Yeah,
They're
right.
all vegan too, actually.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
very.
And
vegan.
they're not gluten. They're gluten free. They're gluten free.
How many years ago?
Oh shit, that was like in the
2008. In the 60s?
2008 was it? Yeah, it was 2008. I moved to
Yeah.
Portland in 2006 or 7.
Yeah, it's 2008.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And you also have other careers too,
Yes, those
Yeah.
are.
or had, or have, or
Oh
moonlight.
COVID does funny things to your careers, but yes.
Those are so strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to take because of COVID, we had to kind of stop touring. We had a nice little tour that was going to go across the whole country.
Oh, yeah,
back
in
in May. Well, it was going to be in May of 2019.
2020.
2020,
Yeah,
right?
COVID
2020,
started in March.
Right.
But we had a plan to tour in May across the country from Portland back to Vermont in our motorhome with our dog. I was pregnant, but I wasn't pregnant enough that I couldn't just be on tour in a motorhome.
So we thought because we know that much about being pregnant, especially me.
Yeah.
And
But
we
I
were
was
like,
like, I
it's
think
fine to do a national tour with only 6 months pregnant, right? You were gonna be like, how far?
No,
are you gonna...
I would have been.
Oh,
3
May.
months.
No, you were in 3 months,
3 months
right?
pregnant. Just so. But then COVID happened, and you couldn't go outside of your house without a shield and a helmet and stuff. So we didn't go on tour.
And then nobody went on tour, and then blah blah blah. Everybody knows the rest of that. And then so we started working in regular jobs. Plus, we did have the Asa.
We had a
Ryder
baby,
was
yeah.
born, and
In October.
and then
Pretty great. But everybody says it's cliche, but it's life changing, and yes, it is.
It is, and that just to flip it back, that album title, I just have to plug my album title. Like it's all those meanings, like the reverse, like 2020 vision, and then like the year, and then the kid is born, and obviously all the political turmoil and the global warming. And it was, that seemed like this time span that we've been through, which isn't 9/11 exactly, but it's probably, I think it'll get remembered as 2020. That's when the poop was
Right.
really hitting the fan because. I'm going to guess less Trump supporters are listening, but if they were, or it's okay, but like I felt like less effective as a president than others. And this whole global pandemic is happening. And he's like, used bleach and like, that was awkward. And so you never seen that before. And then like military thing and all that. So it was very upsetting. And then at the same time, oh, and also, right. My dad died that year. And that was completely like, as much as that's going to happen, it's as destabilizing as having a kid. You're like, everything will always be the same. And so, I don't know, that to everybody who's had parents or that have had parents pass away or had a child, this album will speak to some of that frustration, I think, or confusion or multi-feeling up and down and all that. So
yeah.
there's a long answer.
There is. I mean, 2020 is definitely it's pivotal. It's going to be pivotal for the rest of history, our history, and everybody else's. I believe that.
Well, let's not get too. Maybe a couple hundred. You thinking like 50,000 years? Remember that COVID-19?
Yeah.
I think some.
Maybe
Everyone-
give it 4 generations, maybe, and then something.
It's like
else
the
will
Beatles. People
subsume
thought
it.
that was going to
maybe.
happen.
I don't
Oh,
think
wow.
people remember stuff. Really.
Yeah, maybe not.
It'll be pivotal for us, like now.
Right.
No, that's true.
We'll see if we remember how much.
I don't think we're that historically focused.
I don't know, like
why
Asa
bother?
in there, who's 10 months old, how much he's gonna really know about 2020, except for it was the year he was born, and some bad stuff happened.
He'll get influenced indirectly though, because
Yeah,
we'll
culture's
be like,
changed, maybe,
my
yeah.
dad always said, I'm a Depression era baby. Meaning that he wasn't in the Depression, but his parents were, and therefore he liked to hoard
the bigger
canned
influence
ham.
is
and
going to
all the
be
rest.
like climate change for him, or people
Yes,
like in the coming next 4 generations. The coronavirus may be something they talk about, but probably more so like how they're dealing with the fact the planet is, Well, it depends on what we manage to do in the next.
Right, and exactly, and maybe the
hopeful,
connection between the two, and if we can make 2020 the year where we pivot,
Yes.
and we make those changes,
so.
then it might be remembered as
Hence
as
the rear
something.
view.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
super
Hindsight.
hopeful. I mean, everything
seems like
tells
it.
us that climate change is going to accelerate every year, and so that alone won't make 2020 particularly remarkable. But maybe if we start to wake up, maybe it'll be the year that we started to wake up. Not seeing the evidence of that here toward the end of 21 yet, but
Somewhat. I think
Getting there, I hope.
it freaks people. Almost everybody I know that is kind of that I'm like now that we're back here. When I was in Portland, they're kind of freaking out.
It's
Like,
really
they're
weird.
you can feel it. I've never met so many freaking out people. Like just people, everybody.
When you
It's
envision
kinda-
the Pacific Northwest, like Portland, Seattle, what do you envision? Like a green land with like ferns and beer and bikes, but
Rain and water and
rain and
cold.
water.
And
So
beer.
and beer. Well, I don't know. I'm just trying. I don't know
think
what
I know
people
what
Like
you
all
envision.
in the in the forest, and then there was like an IPA. I was like, oh.
right,
But
Bigfoot is
as there is,
holding-
right? And I'm
Envision
not
a
shrooming or
a rainy
anything.
place, right? Like,
Right.
like you met. So it hasn't rained in Portland since April. Really, we had like a
Yeah.
half inch in May, maybe, and there was a heat wave in June where it was 115 degrees for a couple days, and that I gotta say, I don't mean to be a downer. We can totally change the subject after this, but that's terrifying. And I think I think people are starting to be like, oh shit.
They weren't kidding.
They weren't kidding.
They were kidding.
Like it's going to stop
and
raining.
now the Gulf Stream
from
is
like
going to.
Missouri River west.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's going to be hard to live with. And the Missouri River east is just going to flood a lot, and that's also hard to live with. So maybe it's time to figure some stuff out.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
There was
It's becoming
a
undeniable, if nothing else.
right, and that maybe is the hopeful wake up call. Like people can't deny it anymore. Like I've said for like 15 years, I don't care whose fault it is. I'm not like interested in projecting blame. Just let's do something. Like it's happening. I don't care if you want to say it's human cause, exclusively or not. Just acknowledge that it's changing and you need to prepare.
Yeah.
But the fossil fuel companies, with all their money, have decided that the promotional campaigns are not worth. Don't alarm people. Don't scare them.
Don't scare them.
Well, I think that's fine. And the facts at some point become hard to deny. And the fact that
I think
no,
you
but-
overestimate the human condition.
Well, but if it hasn't rained in many months on the West Coast, and there's fires burning, and if you're flooding New York City, and like at some point the weather people see on a daily basis becomes much changed from the weather they remembered from even 10 years ago.
That's what I'm saying. These hurricanes, they're not going to get in. They're like trying to knock down the wall.
And you mean a visa like you're
Yeah.
coming into the country visa?
Yeah, coming
not
in.
the credit card kind.
No, they're coming.
Got
in.
it. I'm clear.
Maybe
Want
they're
in.
given some authority.
Yeah,
Maybe they're
there's a
given some
Caribbean
authority by.
yeah.
I'm glad.
They have like their own COVID card kind
Well,
of thing.
they want to
Oh, yeah, they
to
have
get
a-
into politics. I feel like hurricanes
hurricane's
want to
got a
run for
vaccine card.
office and stuff. It's like
It's
high
okay.
energy.
It's been vaccinated.
Yeah.
low energy. Wait, what's that?
Well, so on Sunday morning, a friend of mine, a musical friend, posted the CBS Sunday morning show about music as medicine. And Mickey Hart, who's a drummer for the Grateful
I know,
Dead,
yeah.
is he's been exploring this idea for years and years and years. And an opera singer and I think an Indian mystic musician as well. And when I mentioned your other careers, both of you have had careers in medicine.
Yeah.
How do you feel about music as medicine?
Oh, it's obvious. I mean, not to get too far off track there, but it's obvious that movement and rhythm, like that's the first thing the only thing I wanted to do the kid when he was born was just sit. That's why I learned to play piano, half of it anyway. Like, because rhythm is automatically joy making, and if you move to rhythm, so in other words, like the idea that Prozac would somehow be better than movement is totally ignoring like the obvious thing in front of me. I think we just that's another like capitalist invasion thing, but like that you can't monetize that, and you can't even it doesn't have a IRB code or whatever, not what do you call it, ICD-9, that you can't bill for that. And so what music is the cure for, is the key to happiness, I think, or that kind of thing, that movement. I'm going to go slightly off topic, but as the internet continues to turn into whatever the hell it's going to be, music is completely changing, which is I think it needs to do. Actually, I'm going to just go out and say the exact opposite, even though it's destroyed any chance of any money coming in from me and a lot of other people, or us and all that. Like it's necessary to hopefully anyway to allow more people access to be able to make music, because it is easier now to get your stuff published. There's apparently 60,000 songs a day goes up on Spotify. Maybe, just maybe, we'll come back to an era which I think a lot of people would agree with, like where you don't have Led Zeppelin anymore and rock stars and like, I've got this poem that I'm not going to release, but I'm just going to talk about called "Is Mick Jagger Dead Yet?" But that kind of those gods of rock and roll and all that pop music should go away, and perhaps we just have people playing music, kind of like
a parlor,
like right, because everybody can, and I mean I'm self-taught, and like that kind of changeover would be the good side of what the internet could do, because it is ripping the money out, but
right.
but you also get it's lowering the barrier for people to do it. I mean, I've learned how to use, because of COVID. Well, also when we were stuck and isolated under feet and feet of snow in Vermont, learned how to finally use GarageBand and then Logic and all the rest of it. And like it's been hugely educational to me. And that you can't just go buy a studio, but for like $99 you can buy a goddamn studio.
Right.
And that's handy. Not a full studio. You need to still go and mix and master and proper places. But I write everything now on digital,
What was
on
the question?
computers. Well, that's
Is music a form of medicine?
Yes, and the medicines. Yes, and sorry. Okay, fine. I did switch it to something that I wanted to talk about, but that is because if you
That's
vote
what
for me in
questions are for.
2021, I'm kidding. No. Did you say I did? No. Is it medicine? I mean, I don't know what is medicine. It's salubrious. It's good for you.
I wouldn't like ivermectin. I wouldn't necessarily use it to treat your shortness of breath if you've got COVID, but
Yeah, you might actually, to relax someone.
or relax someone. Yes. Yeah, they have these music therapy things in hospitals. So heart players will come in, and
I
it's
guess
actually very beneficial.
Yeah, my point is that it's the more people that actually play it as opposed to listen to it, I think the better. That's where I was that was my roundabout pot brownie answer. But like
But music could be healing.
Yeah,
and
of
beneficial
course.
and useful.
Movement is it's been
also,
scientifically
you must define.
joyful.
I mean, to define medicine it's a very narrow definition, like pills or something.
Not
right?
Western medicine, but a form of comfort, or like you use the word parlor, or in ancient cultures, it was part of their shamanism.
Yeah,
and it's part of everyday life for everybody.
Yeah.
But
I think if you mean like you want to heal people, and then the best way to heal people is like to get the whole body involved, right? And then
move.
And to move.
I mean, I'm talking dance, but also with like
Well, you don't even have to, but you could also just be feeling the
Sure.
music. Like you don't necessarily have to be jumping up and down and dancing to
could be
feel.
waltzing.
Well, you could be sitting and
Mosh
breathing
pit.
and feeling it and hearing it, experiencing it. Anyway, yeah.
That would be that would be a better outcome. I think, from what the internet is delivering to us now. What'd you say?
Like something about the details and yeah.
Oh, details. They're so complicated.
well, it's very clear that Asa is blowing us off, and he won't be part of the interview.
I think he went to sleep.
I did notice. Oh, he's up actually. Anyway,
He's a very difficult interviewer.
And there he is from the control room.
He's not out here because I think he's awful young to be on the internet.
Right. Yeah. A lot
He's
of pressure.
we didn't put him on Facebook or the only thing about him that's out there in the public is my pregnant belly. And apparently it's just me. He's in there. It's him that's in there in that pregnant belly, not some other baby. But, to be clear.
on the cover of the album 2020.
Yeah, which I awkwardly forgot to bring. But
bummer.
If I put my face in front of Jess's belly and then we Photoshop that shit into like put a watermelon.
wrote some words on it.
Yeah.
You can go to
Oh right.
our Facebook
Let's
page
plug some stuff.
or to our website, and you can see a picture of my pregnant belly and George's face
Strangled.
staring at it.
Scaring at it. I was freaking out a bit, but I was also excited very much.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of emotion in your face in the album cover for 2020. It's nice.
That was a real picture.
And your website, strangleddarlings.com.
Yeah, that
you're
one.
on the internet. You're on Facebook. You're
We're on Spotify
everywhere. You're
and
on
all
Spotify.
Those other things.
And you're at Babes maybe on the 16th.
Yeah.
If we could have a volunteer from the web for
The internet.
babysitting. He's a beautiful
Person can
baby.
show up at our house and just take care of our baby for us.
Just a couple hours, it's totally fine.
And we're
And at the Wild Fern also.
right. God. Okay.
No, but also more concretely, we'll be on
At the 12th at Wild Fern.
Wild Fern. They're having a couple people. I know both Hairs playing. I don't know who else is playing, but I think there's some
It's
other.
like a drive-in show.
It's a drive-in?
Yeah, it's like you come in your car and like you park, and that's what my understanding.
Sure.
You watch from across the highway.
Is that
Oh
how?
yes, I remember
Yeah.
this.
Although
That's
they
right.
also, which is I think the only concert series with a Class A highway between the audience and stage. But I think the advertisement said Green Rocks Amphitheater. I don't know what that is.
I don't either.
That might be
You should come and find out. We'll all find
might-
out together.
Yeah, this is Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, it starts at I think it's at 2, and we'll probably.
I think we're 3 p.m. Is what
3, I mean,
no, I'm not sure. Okay, is it?
it starts at 2, and I think we're the second band.
Yeah.
So sometime after 2.
And maybe
Yeah.
Krishna Guthrie's there. He's also played here as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds right because he's been playing with Bo.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Who's also fantastic.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. It should be
Yeah.
a blast. And then maybe Babes on the 16th.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. Miracles do occur.
Yeah.
Yes. Your music's great. I love your music.
Thank you.
I love your words. And you combine it all so really effortlessly. Kind of hold each other up really well. It really is
We do.
it's a gift. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I think you also put your baby to sleep every time. Like he wasn't crying except between songs.
Okay,
When you were-
I forgot to mention. I didn't know. Did you hear that?
Of course.
Oh, and I was like, oh, she's
I'm a
gonna.
mother. I can
You
totally
held
hear it.
you. That was Jess. I mean, I'm impressed because she was playing through.
I
When we stopped playing, I kept like hitting notes because I was like,
Our
that sounds
friend-
like it's my child screaming.
Yeah, it is. But our friend Hillary's watching it, and I trust her absolutely, actually.
Absolutely.
So
You're probably gonna coin a song called "Letting Down" or something soon, or something like that.
He'll just use this against us later. Is what's going to happen, as
Yeah.
opposed to having the
Be
embarrassing
like,
baby
remember when
pictures.
you tried to get daycare on the internet for me?
Yeah, right. No, that's just that.
Or
Right.
like sue me for what is it when kids divorce their parents?
Right, irreconcilable differences. Drew Barrymore. That's a
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
other American story we don't need to get into. We could talk all night. I don't think we can. Are we allowed? We're not allowed to. No, we'll inevitably start swearing, and I don't want to please
were you
Al Gore
gonna
like
talk
that.
About stuff too? Yeah. No, you're just over there with a calming influence. Well done, thank you. You were my anchor all night.
Well, this has been a really privilege. Thank you guys so much for coming. We can't wait to see you again. Going to try to get you to stay in Vermont longer, but maybe a month a year we get these guys. And we are taking the rest of the month off because this was our special event. So
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Jess and George, strangleddarlings.com. Check them out, buy their album, read their words, listen to their sounds. I'm Jamie Gage, and on behalf of Vincent Freeman and Babs Mills, Cameron Kennedy, and Asa in the booth, it's a wrap. Have a good night.